Houston Rockets guard Amen Thompson has quickly become one of the NBA's most electrifying young stars, but behind his rise is a surprising personal twist. Despite being born and raised in the Bay Area, just minutes from Golden State's home court, Thompson has admitted that he's disliked the Warriors for years. And the reason might surprise you. Leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates. At only 22 years old, Thompson already looks like one of the future cornerstones of the league. The 6'7" guard is a rare combination of size, speed, and raw athleticism. In his sophomore season with Houston, he averaged more than 14 points per game, grabbed over 8 rebounds, added nearly 4 assists, and contributed over a steal and a block every night, all while shooting better than 55% from the field. His defense has drawn the most attention, as he earned a spot on the NBA's all-defensive first team, a remarkable achievement for such a young player. Coaches, analysts, and fans alike have already begun to recognize him as one of the most versatile defenders in the game, capable of guarding multiple positions and using his athletic gifts to disrupt even the best scorers. Thompson's coming-out party arrived during his first career playoff appearance, and it came against none other than the Golden State Warriors, one of the most successful franchises of the last decade. In what turned into a dramatic 7-game series, Thompson and the Rockets went head-to-head with the Warriors led by Steph Curry and Draymond Green. For Amen, it was personal. He grew up in San Leandro, California, just across the bay from Golden State's arena. Facing the Warriors on the NBA's biggest stage wasn't just a professional challenge, it was a homecoming. Throughout that series, Thompson delivered. He averaged nearly 16 points, 7 rebounds, more than 3 assists, and close to 2 steals per game, all while being given the daunting defensive assignment of guarding Steph Curry, one of the greatest offensive players the sport has ever seen. Thompson didn't back down from the challenge. His length and athleticism bothered Curry at times, and his relentless energy gave Houston a fighting chance against a team with championship DNA. Every game was physical, tense, and emotional. The matchups featured hard fouls, intense trash talk, and the unmistakable sense that something bigger was brewing, the birth of a new rivalry. Even months after the series ended, the tension between the two teams didn't fade. Players from both sides, including Draymond Green and Houston's own Alperen Sengun, exchanged words during the summer. Fans debated endlessly on social media, and the Rockets-Warriors playoff clash became one of the most talked-about series of the postseason. But what many didn't realize is that Amen Thompson's dislike for the Warriors didn't begin in 2025. It actually started years ago, when he was just a kid. In a candid interview on the Young Man and the Three podcast, Thompson revealed the real source of his feelings. It wasn't about Houston. It wasn't even about growing up near Oakland and rooting against his local team. It was about LeBron James. "I was a LeBron fan," Thompson explained. "I didn't mind the Warriors at first. I actually liked them, until they started playing against LeBron. And that's when I said, okay, now I hate the Warriors." That statement might sound simple, but it speaks to one of the defining storylines of modern NBA history. From 2015 to 2018, the Warriors and LeBron James, first with the Cleveland Cavaliers, later with the Los Angeles Lakers, clashed in some of the most memorable finals matchups the league has ever seen. Golden State became the dynasty of the era, winning 3 championships in 4 years and revolutionizing basketball with their three-point shooting, ball movement, and star power. But with dominance comes backlash. For as many fans as the Warriors gained, they also became the most hated team in the NBA. Rival fan bases, especially those who adored LeBron James, united in rooting against them. Amen Thompson was one of those fans. As a teenager, he watched LeBron take on the Warriors year after year, carrying his teams into battles against Curry, Green, and later Kevin Durant. Like many young fans, Thompson idolized LeBron's strength, leadership, and determination. To him, the Warriors weren't just another team, they were the villains standing in the way of his favorite player's greatness. Now, the irony is impossible to ignore. A Bay Area native who grew up hating the Warriors has become one of the faces of their newest rival. The Rockets, loaded with young talent like Thompson, Sengun, and Jalen Green, are trying to climb the ranks of the Western Conference. And standing in their way is Golden State, the dynasty that Thompson once despised as a fan, and now battles as a professional. For Rockets fans, this only adds fuel to the fire. They love Thompson's passion, his competitive edge, and his willingness to embrace the role of underdog against one of the league's most decorated franchises. For Warriors fans, it stings a little more. One of their own, a hometown kid, has openly admitted that he's against them. The NBA thrives on rivalries, and this one has all the ingredients to become something special. A young, hungry Rockets team with a fearless rising star. A proud, battle-tested Warriors squad that refuses to go quietly. And a personal storyline that makes every matchup just a little more dramatic. For Amen Thompson, the journey is only beginning. He's already made history with his defensive accolades, proven he can deliver in the playoffs, and shown he's unafraid to speak his mind. But perhaps his greatest challenge, and his greatest motivation, will be continuing to face the team he grew up hating, the Golden State Warriors. Because in the NBA, rivalries are never just about basketball. They're about pride, identity, and legacy. And for Thompson, beating the Warriors isn't just another win, it's personal. Stephen Curry. A name that changed the very fabric of basketball. For more than a decade, fans have recognized him as the greatest shooter the game has ever seen, a player who stretched the floor to distances no one imagined possible. His three-point shooting, his lightning-quick release, his dazzling ball handling, all of it has become part of NBA history. But when Curry himself talks about the foundation of his greatness, he points to something very different. Something that often goes unnoticed. Something that can't be measured on a stat sheet or captured in a single highlight. It's not his shooting. It's not his dribbling. It's his conditioning. His ability to outlast everyone else on the court. This is the part of Stephen Curry's game that casual fans don't always see. The endless motion. The constant running. The way he wears down his defender, possession after possession, until they simply have nothing left to give. In his book Shot Ready, the four-time NBA champion and two-time MVP revealed why endurance became the cornerstone of his success. Curry explained that while most people see basketball as a game of strength, speed, or talent, he views it as a battle of willpower and stamina. You can exhaust your opponent, Curry said. In the first quarter, they're sharp. Their energy is high. Their mind and body are working together. That's when they're at their best. But let's see them in the third quarter. Let's see them in the fourth quarter. That's the difference. That's the moment when Curry thrives. Since his days in high school and college, his entire training has revolved around this principle. Cover ground, move without the ball, stay in motion. Never let the defense rest. Never stay in one spot for more than a second. Stronger players, faster players, they will always exist. But if he could outlast them, if he could keep running while they slowed down, then he would always find his advantage. And he did. Curry's off-ball movement has become legendary. He runs defenders through endless screens, forces them to chase him around the court, and tests their endurance with every possession. By the time the game reaches its final stretch, he's still sprinting, still cutting, still ready to fire at a moment's notice, while his opponents are gasping for air. This is what makes Curry arguably the greatest off-ball offensive player in NBA history. And yet, for years, it was overshadowed by his long-range shooting. When he first entered the league, Curry assumed every professional player had the same level of conditioning. After all, these were the best athletes in the world. But it didn't take him long to realize that wasn't true. Many relied on raw talent, size, or athleticism. They didn't train to sustain their performance for an entire game. Curry did. It was surprising how well it worked, he admitted. Conditioning allows you to do whatever your best thing is all the time, not just in short bursts. Some people wait for the big moment to flip a switch. But I believe it always counts. That mindset has carried him through one of the most remarkable careers in NBA history. Even now, in his 17th season, at 37 years old, Curry is still among the league's elite guards. While others slow down with age, his dedication to endurance has kept him dangerous, unpredictable, and relentless. Think about it. Most players, by this stage of their careers, have adjusted their game, relying more on experience than on energy. But Curry, he's still moving, still cutting, still forcing defenses to guard him for every single second of every single possession. That is his secret weapon. That is the reason defenders dread facing him. Because it's not just about stopping one shot. It's about chasing him all night, knowing that no matter how hard you work, he'll still be sprinting in the final minutes, when your legs are gone and your focus is fading. And that's where Stephen Curry wins. Not only with skill, but with stamina. Not only with talent, but with tireless effort. It's the part of his game that rarely makes the highlight reels but defines his greatness. The quiet weapon. The overlooked strength. The reason he's still feared after nearly 2 decades in the NBA. Stephen Curry's shooting changed basketball. But his conditioning might just be what made him immortal. The Golden State Warriors stand at a crossroads. A dynasty that once ruled the NBA now finds itself fighting to remain among the elite. And right in the middle of this storm is Jonathan Kuminga. At just 22 years old, Kuminga represents both the promise of the future and the uncertainty of the present. The Warriors know his value, a strong, athletic forward with flashes of stardom, but still searching for consistency. And now, as contract negotiations stall, Golden State may be forced to make a decision that could shape the rest of the Curry era. Earlier this month, Brooklyn Nets guard Cam Thomas made a bold move. Instead of chasing a long-term deal, he accepted his qualifying offer, a short-term contract that gives him control of his own future. That decision bought him a no-trade clause for the upcoming season and positioned him to hit unrestricted free agency in 2026. Jonathan Kuminga may follow the same path. Reports say Golden State offered him a 2-year, $45 million deal, but without a player option. Kuminga wasn't satisfied. He is now leaning toward the 1-year, $7.9 million qualifying offer. And if he takes that route, it could be the Warriors' worst-case scenario. Because it means they would have only a small window of flexibility, a chance to trade him before the deadline, or risk losing him for nothing. So what happens if the Warriors go down that road? What if Kuminga becomes the centerpiece of a blockbuster trade? Let's explore 3 players who could realistically land in Golden State if a deal happens. Trey Murphy has quietly turned himself into one of the most promising wings in the NBA. Last season, with an expanded role in New Orleans, he proved he can do more than just shoot. He averaged over 21 points per game, hitting nearly 60% true shooting. That's efficiency you almost never see from a player who isn't even an all-star yet. He's 6'9", long, athletic, and versatile. He can defend multiple positions, run the floor, and stretch defenses with his outside shot. In short, Trey Murphy is the type of modern wing every team dreams of. The problem? The Pelicans know this too. Their asking price for Murphy is sky-high, multiple first-round picks and a young, proven player in return. They don't want to let him go. But Golden State might be one of the few franchises willing to pay that price. With Steph Curry's window closing, the Warriors are in win-now mode. Adding Murphy would give them the kind of two-way talent that could immediately elevate them back into contention. Still, it wouldn't be easy. The Pelicans are betting on Murphy's future. But if Golden State gets desperate enough, this is exactly the kind of swing they might be willing to take. Derek White may not have the flash of a superstar, but his impact is undeniable. He's steady, he's reliable, and in many ways, he's the kind of player championship teams are built on. The Boston Celtics, however, face their own challenges. With Jason Tatum sidelined due to a torn Achilles, the Celtics look less like title contenders and more like a team preparing for a transition year. They've already made moves that suggest they're willing to take a step back now in order to prepare for the future. White will be 32 when next season begins. That doesn't mean he's finished. Far from it. But with the Celtics trying to extend their window of contention, they may prefer to focus on younger pieces. That opens the door for Golden State. Pairing Derek White with Steph Curry would be a dream backcourt. White brings elite defense, high IQ, and efficient scoring. He doesn't need the ball in his hands, but when he has it, he makes the right play. He would allow Curry to focus more on his scoring, while also taking pressure off him on the defensive end. Meanwhile, Jonathan Kuminga could be exactly the kind of piece Boston needs in the short term. With Tatum out, Kuminga could step into a larger role, giving the Celtics a temporary boost. And long-term, they could either keep developing him or flip him for more assets down the line. It's not guaranteed Boston would move White. Reports suggest they've turned down offers before. But the Warriors might just have the right mix of youth and upside to make the Celtics think twice. The Warriors have long struggled to find stability at the center position. Yes, they've managed with small ball lineups, with Draymond Green anchoring the paint. But as the years pile up, so do the miles on Draymond's body. Golden State knows it can't keep relying on him to do everything defensively. Enter Jarrett Allen. The Cavaliers' big man is a force inside. At 6'11", He controls the paint with his rebounding, shot blocking, and rim protection. He's efficient offensively, finishing plays around the basket, and doesn't need a high usage rate to make an impact. Golden State is rumored to have a handshake deal with Al Horford, who could step in at center. But at 39 years old, Horford is a short-term patch, not a long-term solution. Allen, on the other hand, is in his prime. He could give the Warriors stability at the 5 for years to come. The challenge? Cleveland isn't looking to move him. The Cavs view Allen as part of their core, alongside Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Mobley. For Golden State to have a shot, the Cavs would need to underperform badly, forcing them to rethink their roster. There's also the financial side. Allen's contract rises from $20 million to $28 million in the 2026 season. That makes the window to trade for him very narrow, ideally before the 2026 deadline. If the Warriors believe Allen is the missing piece, they'll have to strike fast. So here we are. 3 very different players, but each one could change the Warriors' future. Trey Murphy, the rising star wing. Derek White, the steady veteran guard. And Jarrett Allen, the defensive anchor in the paint. Jonathan Kuminga's decision will set the stage. If he accepts the qualifying offer, Golden State gains a brief opportunity to flip him into a piece that could keep the dynasty alive. If not, the Warriors may be forced to watch their young talent walk away for nothing. The clock is ticking. Training camp is here. And the Warriors must decide, do they double down on the present or gamble on the future?